Alrighty. Good evening, everyone. I am Zenny Dragon, and I bid you all welcome to my channel, and I hope you enjoyed today's stream. Today, we finally get to start the journey into the world of Fire Emblem. And today, we are actually going to start off with Fire Emblem Three Houses for the Nintendo Switch. And I hope that you enjoy it today. So, as far as I'm going to tackle this, I'm going to reveal that over the course. As far as what path I'm going to take, what I'm going to do. But I'm hoping that this will be just sort of a casual, just sort of playthrough that you guys can be able to ask me questions and be able to enjoy the time while playing my favorite video game series. So, with that, let us begin. Talking about New Game Plus. Talking about amiibo functionality. No, I am not going to do a New Game Plus. I'm going to start completely from scratch. And I'm going to do a normal classic. I'm going to do this on normal classic, so. Probably won't do much functionality with the whole network thing, but. And now we begin. I'm just gonna let this scene speak for itself. Ouch! Look to that.
Tell me, Nemesis, do you recall the Red Canyon? You'll die. Die. You took everything that I loved.
Oh my goodness. You got blood, you got everything. Three Houses just went genealogy of the Holy War on us.
He's gone now, Mother. have brought you here?
I don't know. And now our story begins.
I wonder how you got in here. It is most rude to interrupt a moment of repose. Very rude indeed. Now come to me. I wish to have a look at you.
All right. And to start off, we're going to pick out the gender of our main character. Unlike with some of the previous Fire Emblem games like Fire Emblem Awakening and Fire Emblem Fates, we don't get much customization as far as the looks of our character, other than just the gender of our character as well as the name. For the name, I'm gonna stick with the default name. But I'm going to go with the male character.
I have not seen the likes of you before. Who are you anyway?
I am a ghost. I'm a demon. I'm a mortal.
I see. Then you must have a name of sorts. Go on.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the default name. Just sort of have it in mind.
I shall not ever grow accustomed to the sound of human names. You must possess a day of birth as well. Beneath which moon and on what day were you born to this world?
I will do with my actual birthday, which was actually not too long ago, November 1st, or the 11th month and the first day. On the Red Wolf Moon, the first day.
Well, wonders never cease. It seems we share our day of birth. How strange.
No matter what, she'll always say that.
It all feels so familiar. I think it may be time for yet another nap. It is almost time to begin.
Hey, time to wake up.
Oh, hello, Jiraiya.
You having that dream again?
I was dreaming about a war. I was dreaming about a young girl. I'll dream about a war.
Massive armies clashing on a vast field, right? There hasn't been a battle like that in over 3 centuries. In any case, just put that out of your mind for now. The battlefield is no place for idle thoughts. Risking your life is part of the job for mercenaries like us. Letting your mind wander is a sure way to get yourself killed. Okay, time to get moving. Our next job is in the kingdom. I told you before, it's far from here, so we'll need to leave at dawn.
Of course.
Oh, good grief. Everyone is already waiting for us outside.
Gerald, sir, sorry to barge in, but your presence is needed.
What's happened?
Please forgive our intrusion. We wouldn't bother you were the situation not dire.
What do a bunch of kids like you want at this hour?
We're being pursued by a group of bandits. I can only hope that you will be so kind as to lend your support.
Bandits? Here?
It's true. They attacked us while we were at rest in our camp.
We've been separated from our companions and we're outnumbered. They're after our lives, not to mention our gold.
I'm impressed you're staying so calm considering the situation. Wait, that uniform.
Bandits spotted just outside the village. Damn, there were a lot of them.
I guess they followed you all the way here. We can't abandon this village now. Come on, let's move. Hope you're ready.
Alrighty. So we get to go ahead and start our first map. And I won't overwrite any of my already completed routes. Nice to get to be able to play with the little 8-bit character at the bottom, right there. Do that by sort of tilting the controller. A skirmish at dawn, prologue, an inevitable encounter. Alrighty, this is going to be...
Let's take care of those thieves before they overrun the village. Take down the enemies in front first. That should take the wind out of their sails.
Alrighty, this is definitely going to be teaching you sort of the basics of Fire Emblem, sort of a tutorial map. So select a movement and move to an enemy. While your unit is next to an enemy, command window will open. To attack, select attack command and choose a weapon. Alrighty. So we start off with 4 characters here. Starting off with our main character, Byleth. He is a character that excels in swords as well as authority. He has a possibility of being able to be good in faith as well. So sort of baseline sort of sword, as well as even a little bit of like magic units will be good for him. Next we have Edelgard. She is, despite her looks and her stature, she is actually more so the sort of the heavy arms type unit. She excels with axes as well as swords, as well as with heavy armored abilities as well. She has the possibility of being able to be good in regular reason type magic, which is elemental magic. Next up, we have Dimitri. Sort of our prototypical young prince-like character. He excels in utilizing lances as well as swords, and as well as can be pretty good with riding as well. Can be utilized as a cavalry type unit. And finally, we have Claude. Sort of a wild card type character. He excels in bows as bow type weapons as well as swords, and also has the possibility of being pretty good with both axes and flying type abilities. So to begin, usually some of the basics of Fire Emblem is you want to be able to minimize the amount of damage that you're going to be taking. So you're actually going to want to start off with indirect attacks as much as possible to sort of weaken your opponents, and then bring in the close-up fighters to finish off the enemy units. So combat with bows. Bows can attack from long range, although their hit rate is reduced as range increases. They are highly effective against flyers like Pegasus Knights and Wyvern Riders.
Ready and willing.
Here we go. I'm gonna attack with Claude. And he won't be able to counterattack. Weapon durability. A weapon will break when repeated use brings its durability to 0. You can fight with a broken weapon, but your might and hit rate will be reduced, and enemies will make follow-up attacks more easily. Be careful with your weapons. You cannot repair them mid-battle. So as a typical thing with Fire Emblem is being able to sort of watch your resources, resource management.
Stay focused.
And we are going to first have Violet talk with Claude.
It's because of you guys that I'm not dead right now. Thanks for that. I didn't expect to run into mercenaries like you in some remote village. The gods of fortune must be smiling on me.
Alright. And now we will finish off this unit with Violet.
Each battle a chance to grow.
Alrighty. Use the battle menu to create bookmarked saves, view tutorial guides, and more. To access it, press the A button when the cursor is on a space without an active unit. Once all your units have taken action, the player phase ends and the enemy phase begins. You can end the player phase early by selecting End from the battle menu. Alrighty. So we're going to finish this off by making sure that the other characters be able to talk with our main character.
About you. You say you're a mercenary, so show me what you can do.
Alright. We're going to have her wait.
I'll cut through. Thank you. We are in your debt. It wouldn't do for us to fall in a place like this. Please, lend us your strength. Let's work together to drive out these thieves.
Alrighty. Enemies don't move. Ally does not move.
Protecting ourselves from the enemy. Take up position inside the forest.
Alrighty, that is letting us know about terrain effects. Certain terrain will have effects on the unit occupying it. Forest, for instance, raises a unit's evasion and defense. Move your units to advantageous terrain and prepare to meet the enemy. This is how your units can be able to sort of gain advantage. When you are approaching an enemy. So we are going to have our characters move forward. Yep, I'll have him attract the enemy. And enemy will attack us. Alrighty. You've been able to regain a little bit of health. Alrighty. So we'll have Edelgard finish this guy off.
Yes, good. If we're in the forest, we can sustain their attacks without losing the advantage.
Forests are not the only terrain type you will encounter. Keep an eye out for others such as thickets and heal tiles. You can see the effects of the terrain by placing your cursor over it. Press the X button on an empty space to toggle the terrain information and the unit icons.
Well, how was that?
Alrighty, and what they're talking about on the top left of the screen, they'll let us know as far as what terrain our cursor is currently over. So we got stuff like forest. We'll have stuff like deep forest, grassland, which is neutral, as well as impassable terrain types. Alright. We'll have Claude attack this guy from afar. Ah, missed. Alright. So we'll have Lila start off with this guy. And then we'll have Dimitri finish him off.
Over already.
And we'll let the enemy have their phase. Nice job, Edelgard. Nice dodge.
This is a fine opportunity. Use the combat arts I taught you.
Combat arts, that is something that is pretty new to Fire Emblem at this point. I know that the previous title, the remake, Fire Emblem Echo Shadows of Valentia, had something similar to this, but essentially combat arts are powerful techniques that use more weapon durability than usual. They typically do not allow for follow-up attacks. Units learn new combat arts when their weapons skill levels go up. There are no combat arts for reason or faith. Those skills grant magic instead. So essentially combat arts are these little techniques that allow for a little bit of extra damage just in case you want to squeeze out that just little bit of extra damage to be able to guarantee a kill. But I will not need that to finish this guy off. I will have Claude do the honors.
Never underestimate an outsider.
Alright, using items. Select the items option to change your equipped weapon or to use items such as Vulnerary, which restores your unit's hit points, HP. So, have Edelgard move here. She does not need to heal up. Have Violet move there. I have a move over here. I will not use an item just yet for him. And then I'll have Dimitri move over here.
Damn. Why are there mercenaries in the village? Guess we'll have to deal with them too.
Alrighty. And we are going to... Oh. Our ally, Gerald, moved up.
When an ally is nearby, and the enemy will be intimidated, making them easier to hit.
Okay, so basically that's letting us know linked attacks. When you attack an enemy that is also in attack range of one or more of your other units, you trigger a linked attack. During a linked attack, your avoid rate and hit rate are higher than normal. Linked attacks between certain units also raise might. Good use of linked attacks is key to defeating powerful enemies. Linked attacks will also build support amongst units involved. Item drops. Item icon on an enemy indicates what you will get. That you will get the item that is highlighted green in the unit's details display when you defeat them. So, essentially, if you look at this guy, you'll see a little green, like little satchel mark right near him. That means that he has an item that can be dropped to you, and you gain this iron axe that he has already equipped. So, what I am going to do is I'm going to have Dimitri wait in the thicket. Have Violet wait here, and Edelgard wait here, and I'll start moving Claude into position.
I'm gonna kill you where you stand.
Ooh, that's not good. Man, he hit with only a 39% hit rate. Wow. Dimitri's better at dodging right there. Nice dodge. Alrighty. I'll have Claude finish finish this guy up.
It's not luck, it's fate.
I'll have Violet finish this guy off.
As expected.
And Violet gets a level up. Let's see what he gets. Strength, dexterity, and res. That's actually a decently good level up. And what is Dimitri going to be able to do? Okay, he'll leave him at 1 health. And Edelgard will completely kill him. So I will have Dimitri attack first, just so that he can get a little bit more experience. Even though I may or may not choose his path. We'll have to find out later. Alrighty. And nice dodge. And then we'll have Edelgard get the kill. There we go. Nice job. And she gets the level up. They'll get strength, magic, dexterity. Wow, that is a pretty decent level up. And Edelgard received the Iron Axe, very fitting, as she is very much keen with axes. Wait, you're still up? What's going on here?
Honestly, what are you accomplishing with that little stunt? It's like you're trying to get me killed, you fool. Well, it's fine. After all, if you don't know the value of your own life, you're not going to protect it very well, are you? Of course not. Well then, I guess it's up to me to guide you from now on, right? You can call me Sothis, but I'm also known as the Beginning. Sothis. Yes, that is it. My name is Sothis. And I am also called the Beginning. But who once called me that?
What are you talking about? Sothis?
I was not able to recall my name until just now. And just like that, it came to me. How odd. That look upon your face. Did you think me a child? A mere child who forgot her own name? Phooey! That child just saved your life. And what does that make you?
I'm less than a child?
Correct. You understand. You threw yourself before an axe to save just one young girl. Yet all is well, as I have stalled the flow of time for now. You would have died had I not intervened.
Thank you.
There now. Is gratitude so much to ask? I did deem you worth saving after all. Though it is only momentary, time has stopped. However did I manage that?
I wonder. What now? What will happen when time resumes?
When time begins again, the axe will tear into your flesh and you will surely meet your end. How rude of you to drag me into this. Now what to do?
Alright, this conversation will actually introduce us to the main gimmick, one of the main gimmicks as far as with Fire Emblem Three Houses, sort of turn back feature. So turn back the hands of time.
Of course.
That will get explained a little bit later.
Yes, I do believe it can be done. you really are quite troublesome. I cannot wind back time too far, but all is well. You are aware of what's to come, which means you can protect yourself this time. Now go! Yes, you who bears the flames within. Drift through the flow of time to find the answers that you seek.
Alrighty. And rewind time. Hello, Mystic Blue! How are you doing today?
Hey, over here! Huh?
Hey, did you just...
I don't know, what did I just do?
The Knights of Seros are here. We'll cut you down for terrorizing our students.
Everyone's favorite uncle.
The thieves are running away. Go after them. The students seem to be unharmed.
I'm doing alright, Mystic. Sad to hear that you're a little sore. But all in all, I'm glad to hear that you're doing alright. Edelgard's our MVP for our tutorial map. Considering I had her take down the main boss, that would probably be conducive of being an MVP. Alright, let's go ahead and save.
My, thank you so much.
Captain Gerald? It is you! Goodness, it's been ages! Don't you recognize me? It's Alois, your old right-hand man! Well, that's how I always thought of myself anyway. Oh, it must have been 20 years ago that you went missing without a trace. I always knew you were still alive.
You haven't changed a bit, Alois. Just as loud as ever. And drop that captain nonsense. I'm not your captain anymore. These days, I'm just a wandering mercenary. One who has work to do. Goodbye, old friend.
Right. Goodbye, Captain. Wait, that isn't how this ends. I insist that you return to the monastery with me.
Alois demands that the story actually starts.
I suppose this was inevitable.
And how about you, kid? Are you the captain's child?
Stranger band. I'll say yes. That is correct.
Is that so? Well, physical differences aside, your mannerisms do remind me of the captain. I'd love for you to see the monastery too. You will join me, won't you?
And Gerald's just. This is gonna get convoluted, isn't it?
Dare run from the Knights of Seros.
Knights of Seros? They do seem rather skilled.
We didn't see much of them. Like they just appeared, and you're
It seems your
saying that
presence
they're
is
already
welcome.
skilled.
Get going.
Alright, let's get further introduced to our three main lords.
I appreciate your help back there. Your skill is beyond question. You're clearly an experienced mercenary. And your father, that would be Gerald, the Bladebreaker? Former captain of the Knights
Jared
of Seros,
facepalms.
oft praised as the strongest knight to ever live. Have I missed anything?
I'd say didn't know he was the captain.
How curious. I'd wager the explanation for that is fascinating indeed.
Hey, you are coming with us to the monastery, right? Of course you are. I'd love to bend your ear as we travel. Oh, I should mention that the three of us are students of the Officers' Academy at Garrigmach Monastery. We were doing some training exercises when those bandits attacked. I definitely got the worst of it.
That would be because you ran off.
Too true. I was the first to make a strategic retreat.
strategic retreat.
If these two hadn't followed me and ruined everything, because of them, every single one of those bandits chased after us. Utterly ridiculous.
Ah, so that's what you were thinking, Claude. And here I thought you were acting as a decoy for the sake of us all.
His intentions were as clear as day. You will prove a lacking ruler if you cannot see the truth behind a person's words.
You will prove a lacking ruler yourself if you look for deceit behind every word and fail to trust those whom you rely on.
Oh, joy. A royal debate between their highnesses. I wonder how being completely predictable affects one's ability to wield power. Personally, as the embodiment of distrust, I'd say your little exchange smacks of naivete.
Naive. Tell me.
Just gotta love this banter.
Capable of keeping quiet, or is your lack of self-awareness a condition of some sort?
In any case, forgive our digression. I must speak with you if you can spare a moment. The way you held your ground against the bandits' leader was captivating. You never lost control of the situation. It showed me I still have much to learn.
Your skill is precisely why I must ask you to consider lending your services to the Empire. I might as well tell you now.
Wait, I just
am no
met
mere
you.
student. I am also the Adrestian Empire's...
Halt, Edelgard. Please allow me to finish my own proposition. The Holy Kingdom of Fargus is in dire need of exceptional individuals like yourself. Please, do consider returning to the kingdom with me.
Whoa there, you two sure are hasty. Trying to recruit someone you just met. Tactless, really.
I agree.
I was personally planning to develop a deep and lasting friendship on our journey back to the monastery before begging for favors. But it seems there's no time for niceties in this world. So, capable stranger, let's get right to it. Where does your allegiance lie?
It seems one's place of birth is quite significant to them. Yet they are so impressed by you that you may take your pick. Well?
Alrighty, so I'll take this opportunity to sort of let you guys know which is my favorite amongst the three lords thus far. I have not done all the routes, so I will preface that with this. And this will not be, or I should say this, I should say it in this way. This may or may not necessarily be the route that I'm going to end up choosing for this playthrough. But to let you guys know, as far as so far playing Three Houses, which is my favorite one, I do like Claude.
Is that right?
I just love his personality. I love his design. I just love a whole lot about Claude.
Looks like we'll have to pick this up
His
another
mannerisms, everything. Like, he's just my personal favorite out of the three characters.
You know, each of the three is most unique.
Alright, let's see a little bit about each of the characters. Edelgard, she is a refined young woman, but I feel as though she is always evaluating me. Dimitri, he seems quite sincere, but I sense darkness lurking beneath. And Claude, his easy smile is striking, but that smile doesn't reach his eyes.
Yes, I thought the same.
I sense some foreshadowing.
Sleepy was here. Oh, I may be sleeping, but
Alrighty, let's go ahead and save. Always fun to have the 8-bit character. Just
Part
run about.
1. White Clouds. Great Tree Moon. 3 Houses. The icy winds of the Agma Mountains have begun to scatter, and the verdant fields once again spring to life across
Yep, the
Rhodes,
looming cloud of foreshadowing,
the
yep.
start of a new year. As they celebrate the dawning year, the people pray that they may realize their full potential, just as a tiny sprout hopes to one day.
If the banter earlier wasn't foreshadowing enough, they had to add in that.
The continent of Fodlan, said to be protected by a revered goddess, has existed since time immemorial. 3 ruling powers now control the land. In the south lies a region long held by a more than 1,000-year-old dynasty, the Adrestian Empire. Beyond its borders, to the frigid north, is the home of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus, ruled by the royal family and its knights.
Alright.
To the east, a league of nobles that heeds no king nor emperor rules what is called the Leicester Alliance. Once consumed by a tempest of war and turmoil, Fodlan and these three mighty powers now exist in relative harmony.
As far as the different continents in Fire Emblem, Fodlan is actually a pretty good and well built continent within the Fire Emblem universe. Personally, I still hold Tellius as the best continent, the best world within the Fire Emblem universe, the best well built, and just the most realized continent within the Fire Emblem lore. But as far as the games that not until the Fire Nation attack.
There it is.
But yeah, Fodlan is actually a pretty good continent within the Fire Emblem universe, as far as my experience with Fire Emblem as a whole. As we get introduced to the Geralt Monastery, our main hub for pretty much all the game. Oh no, we've gone all anime here. We've got MILFs, we got everything. We've got schools. This is basically anime Harry Potter. That was said with disdain. Maybe another bit of foreshadowing.
I wonder, did the flow of time bring you here?
Maybe. And you gotta really hand it to Cup of Tea Studios that did the voice direction for this game. They did an excellent job with this.
Forced to see her now.
You been here before?
I've never spoken of this to you before, but many years ago, I was a knight here. I reported to the Archbishop, Lady Rhea.
Lady Rhea?
As you know, the majority of folks in Fodlan are devout followers of the teachings of Seros. The leader of that ridiculously large religious organization is the Archbishop, Lady Rhea.
Thank you for your patience, Gerald. My name is Seteth. I am an advisor to the Archbishop.
Right. Hello.
Yes, hello.
It has been a long time, Gerald. I wonder, was it the will of the goddess that we have another chance meeting like this?
Forgive my silence all these years. Much has happened since we last spoke.
So I see. The miracle of fatherhood has blessed you. That is your child, is it not?
Yes. Born many years after I left this place. I wish I could introduce you to the mother of my child, but I'm afraid we lost her to illness.
I see.
I wonder.
Condolences. As for you, I heard of your valiant efforts from Alois. What is your name?
My name is?
A fine name indeed. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for saving those students of the Officers' Academy. Gerald, you already know what it is I wish to say.
Once again, the apprehension is is coming out.
You want to rejoin the Knights of Seros, don't you? I won't say no, but...
Your apprehension stings. I had expected that Alois would have already asked this of you. I must step away from
Gerald truly does not want the story to continue. He wants to end this right now.
Please listen carefully to what they have to say. Until tomorrow, farewell.
I can't believe it. forced back into the Knights of Seros. I'm sorry I dragged you into this. Looks like I'll be stuck here for a while. And I'm afraid your services are requested as well.
I must work here? As a mercenary?
Nothing like that. They want you to teach, by the sound of it. You heard those brats earlier talking about the Officers' Academy, right? Well, the Academy just happens to be short a professor. And apparently that damned Alois went and recommended you to Lady Rhea.
So, you must be the new professor. My, how stern and handsome you are.
No. I'm not the one you're looking for. You can handle things from here. Good luck. And watch out for Lady Rhea. I don't know what she's thinking making you a professor like this. She may be up to something. Stay on your guard.
Okay.
Oh, it's you then? So young.
Competence and age are not necessarily correlated, as you well know. I am Hanneman, a Crest Scholar and Professor at the Officers' Academy. I wonder if you bear a crest of your own.
Really, you're gonna start with that right away? Like, you thought of a good foot with that opening sentence, but
I'm a professor,
and he just starts rambling.
And available. It's nice to
And available. Wow. You're a songstress?
Of course. Before I came here, I belonged to a renowned opera company. Perhaps you've heard of me? The Middlefranc Opera Company is beautiful, peerless.
Spare our colleague the needless chatter, Manuela.
You're one to talk.
Now, it seems you'll be taking charge of one of the Academy's 3 houses. I expect you haven't yet been briefed on the nature of each, have you?
Do you really not know? Fine. I'll do you a favor and explain.
Okay.
The Officers' Academy is comprised of 3 houses of students.
Title drop.
Each of which is closely affiliated with its region of origin. The Black Eagle House is for students from the Adrestian Empire. Their house leader this year is Edelgard, the Imperial Princess, who is in line to be the next Emperor.
The Blue Lion House is for students from the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. Their house leader this year is Prince Dimitri. He is to be the next king of Fargus.
Lastly, there is the Golden Deer House, which is for students of the Leicester Alliance. Their house leader is Claude, grandson to Duke Regan, the leader of the Alliance.
To think that the next Emperor, King, and Sovereign Duke are all here. It certainly is a promising year for the Academy.
I'll say. I just hope none of those little...
It's strange that all those stuff would coincide within the same year, almost like the developers planned for it.
Taking a stroll around the Academy to get your bearings. And when you've a moment, please stop by my research laboratory.
The old man has a point. Oh, and keep in mind that I've only notified the house leaders that you're our new professor. It's more fun that way. I suggest you try spending time with the students. Some odd ducks in that bunch, but they're good kids.
And we will spend a little bit of time talking about them.
I'll have more information for you tomorrow, but that should get you going. Good luck. You'll need it.
Have you no intention of changing your mind, Rhea? Appointing a stranger, a child no less, as a professor at our esteemed academy is...
I have made my decision, Sedith. I know worrying comes naturally to you, but there is truly no need. That stranger is Gerald's flesh and blood, after all.
I can't say that's all too comforting. How trustworthy is this Geralt character? Is he not the man who went missing after the Great Fire 21 years ago? I would remind you that Flayn is now here with us as well. I beg of you, please consider whether this is an unnecessary risk.
Sedith, they have my trust. Let that be
Over and over, Sedith proves to be, while he may be stern, well, he is definitely the voice of reason in this establishment. No wonder why people love him so much.
Ill will toward the church, especially if they are frequenting Garrick Mach.
Yes, that matter is of great importance as well. I shall continue.
And that's even before mentioning his base stats.
For now, I will have faith that you are placing your trust with the utmost.
When we do finally get him.
I pray that
That's
nothing
if
occurs to shake that confidence.
this particular path we get him. Alrighty, and now we get to start in the main hub, the Garrick Mock Monastery. Nice little touch that the bell chime is the first few notes of the Fire Emblem theme. Alright. Back off. Ingrid, yeah, got no time for this. Still action pose with the sweat drops. Alrighty. Let us begin our time at Garrick Mock Monastery. While exploring the monastery, R stick move camera, plus minus buttons to zoom in, zoom out, B, Y buttons to hold dash. If you're ever unsure what to do next, look to the left side of the screen. Your current objectives will be displayed there. Alrighty. Let's see here. So, yep.
I assume you are already aware that you will be teaching here at the Officers' Academy, correct? To start, please speak with the 3 house leaders. You should also take a look around the academy and acquaint yourself with your new home. That is your first task here at the monastery. Please let me know if you accept it. Once you have finished, come and speak with me.
Yep, I will go ahead and accept that. Alrighty, quests are tasks given to you by people around the monastery. Those who can give or are involved with quests will have icons by them. Consult the quest menu to see the quests that you have accepted. The icons beside each quest indicate their status. Icons for essentials quests are red. Alrighty.
I imagine you were a bit surprised that I recommended you as a professor here. Frankly,
yes.
We had someone else in mind for the role, but they ran off during our dust-up with the bandits. Can't entrust students to someone who's abandoned them once before, huh?
You saved
I
lives
definitely
of the
agree with that.
students you came across. That, at least, was
It makes me wonder
now you should make the rounds.
who that person
Go
would have
around
been.
the monastery and see that you greet everyone.
Alrighty. Alright. Talking about the minimap. I have it enlarged to full scale map. It is a little annoying that they keep on interrupting these pan out shots. Oh well. Alrighty, let's start to Edelgard and get introduced to the Black Eagles.
So, you've accepted a teaching position here. Pity. I was hoping you would lend your strength to the Empire. I never properly introduced myself, did I? My name is Edelgard von Hresvelg. I am the princess and heir apparent of the Adrestian Empire. I wonder if you'll be tasked with leading the Black Eagles. I hope you've had a chance to meet everyone. Would you like to know more about any of the Black Eagles?
Yes, I would. Alright, and let's go through each of the Black Eagles and give you my initial thoughts on them.
Me? Well, some think I'm a bit distant, arrogant even, but there's little to be done. One day I must rise to become Adrestia's next emperor. What else? Well, it seems to me that we may have similar personalities.
My personal thoughts on Edelgard. I do have very limited experience on the Black Eagles route, whether it be the Crimson Flower or the Silver Snow route. But but not going into spoilers, my personal thoughts on Edelgard is that she is actually a pretty decent character. Like, there's a lot of intrigue as far as her story as the game progresses, and the decisions that she makes certainly they are certainly thought-provoking. I'll say that. I definitely do not agree with certain stuff that she does, but they are certainly not without thought. And there is definitely intended purpose with her character, and it is pretty much obvious throughout the majority of the game, pretty much no matter what route you take. They usually the game is pretty good at highlighting the struggles that Edelgard goes through throughout the story. Hubert.
Hubert is the heir of Marquis Vestra. He has served me since I was a child. You may think his blood runs a bit cold, but actually that's rather accurate. Still, if you can get past that, you'll see he's quite astute and reasonable.
Alright, Hubert. I'll say that his devotion is certainly admirable, but for me personally, he does come off a little bit one note. There are certain aspects to his character, once again, not going into spoilers, that it does raise a little bit of intrigue, but there's really not too much to Hubert. There are some moments with specific characters that are certainly humorous, seeing him work off those characters, but those are mostly to the benefit of those other characters, not necessarily to himself. So he's kind of bland for me, but he certainly has an interesting sort of slithery design to him, and you can definitely admire his dedication to what he does.
For some reason, he thinks of me as a bitter rival and is always trying to challenge me. It's terribly irritating. His house is that of Duke Ire, which produces Adrestia's prime ministers. That family is perhaps too pleased with its own status.
And I am Ferdinand von Ire. No, I'm not going to do that. Ferdinand, he's certainly a character that is definitely sort of deceitfully deep. Like, on the surface level, you can definitely see what type of character he is, but there's actually a lot more to his character than meets the eye, and you definitely get quite a bit of snippets about that throughout your entire time of being able to utilize him. So he's certainly not really up there as far as my personal taste as far as a character, but there is definitely a lot more to him that certainly put him higher up in my eyes than someone like Hubert. And we're actually an hour in. How is everyone doing? Alright, let's go on to Linhardt.
He's remarkably intelligent, but he only wishes to apply himself to tasks that particularly interest him, and nothing else. He's also fond of, well, napping. If he had any work ethic or sense of duty to speak of, I suppose he would be destined to become an official of the Empire.
Hello, Shikamaru. Oh wait, sorry, this is Linhardt. His very much his personality is very much like Shikamaru from Naruto series, and I absolutely love Shikamaru in Naruto. Naruto being my favorite manga series. I certainly wouldn't say the best manga series, but it certainly is one that strikes a chord with me, and I absolutely love the character of Shikamaru. Linhardt doesn't succeed where Shikamaru succeeds as far as character development as well as just sort of usability. Or I'm not sure if that's really the right term, but it's sort of Shikamaru light. Like sort of diet Shikamaru pretty much, and there are certainly aspects of Linhardt that are certainly lacking and could have been handled a lot better. But there are certainly areas where you can definitely tell his astute mind as well as sort of his philosophical takes. And they really do shine when he gets the chance to actually display those. So... Caspar.
He's the second son of Count Burgles. He has no inheritance in his future, which is perhaps why he's always so eager to prove himself. He's overly energetic and rushes headfirst into any battle. If he ends up in your care, be sure to keep a close eye on him.
Alright, Caspar. Shonen protagonist right down to the bone. Denser than lead. Headstrong. There are certainly some really, really great moments with him. He can be shallow at points, but certainly a character that definitely grows on you the more and more you see him. And he is certainly a character that it isn't useful like some of the other characters, but he is definitely has his place on the battlefield, and it is actually a pretty decent character for his sort of prototype character. So. Move on to Bernadetta.
She's Count Varley's only daughter. I suppose you could say she's a bit eccentric, but she seems like a gentle soul. I believe she shut herself away in her quarters and doesn't care to leave, but don't worry, I'll make sure she finds her way to class.
The almighty Bernadetta, probably one of the more popular characters in Fire Emblem 3 houses. Certainly amongst the top of the popular characters. She's certainly not. I'm not as high on her as some of the others are, but she is certainly. There is certainly a lot to her character that not only can I relate to, but certainly give her charm. She can certainly have her annoying moments with how much of a shut-in, as well as just sort of how she just sort of instantly jumps to conclusions. But over time, she definitely molds to a much better, much more tolerable, and pretty much earns her keep amongst those popular characters. So I may not be quite as high on her, but she is still up there. Certainly, thus far as what we have been introduced, certainly my personal favorite thus far of the Black Eagles that we have been introduced thus far to. Next, Dorothea.
Few commoners have joined the Black Eagle House, but Dorothea is an exception. She's a songstress from a famous opera company in the Empire. I'm not entirely sure what brought her to the Officers' Academy.
Alright, Dorothea. I am not as high on her as others are. Like, I can definitely see the appeal of her character. And she's certainly not shallow, even though she does have the appearance initially of being sort of a shallow character. But as we go along through the story, no matter what route I take, I am planning on recruiting as many of the characters as possible, just as a forenote. But as we move along in the story, we learn more about her. There is definitely much more to her character than what we initially see. But it's not something that I personally gravitate towards. But I can definitely see where the appeal is and why people like Lewis, like Blazing Knight, really, really love her.
To the west of
Petra.
Fodlan is an archipelago called Bridget. Petra is the granddaughter of their king. Bridget is a vassal state of the Empire, which is how she came to be enrolled here. She's incredibly smart and studious.
Petra. My personal favorite out of the Black Eagles, as far as I've been able to explore. Like, her character motivations, her background, everything that is a part of her character, I am a huge fan of. And it's not necessarily as far as the trope of the whole exchange student thing. It's her dedication to learning. It's her dedication to improving herself and being able to take every single moment as she can. She is absolutely my personal favorite character out of the whole entire Black Eagles. She is absolutely up there. She is my personal favorite. And that is it for the Black Eagles. Let's move on to the meme himself, the Gatekeeper.
Professor. What a pleasure. As for me, my job is to stand here at this glorious entrance and leisurely watch over the comings and goings of everyone. Make folks smile, you know? And by that, I mean to vigilantly guard this entrance with my very life. No levity whatsoever. As of now, nothing to report.
And thus, everyone's favorite meme in Three Houses was born. I won't go into as far as my personal take on the Gatekeeper. He's a side character, but as well as certain aspects of what has been going on with the community in regards to that character. Before we go into the Blue Lions, I'm actually going to talk to the individual students of the Black Eagles one by one.
Our house leader is Princess Edelgard. There are many other nobles among our ranks as well.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Let's begin with Bernie and Ferdy.
What? I don't talk to strangers.
Bernadetta, this is no stranger. Our house leader owes this person a great debt. Is that not right? I am Ferdinand von Eyre, legitimate son of the Eyre family.
Yes, I am Ferdinand von Eyre.
Foremost house. Are you
Ah,
going to join
darn
our
it, I
ranks?
did it.
I look forward to getting better acquainted with you.
Alrighty. Let's move on to Dorothea.
Aren't you just lovely? Is this your first time in the monastery? Shall I show you around? Oh, my name is Dorothea. Before I joined the academy, I was a member of an opera company in the Empire. You should hear me sing sometime.
Alrighty. On to Caspar and Linhardt.
Is it true that you saved Edelgard? That's incredible. The name's Caspar, by the way. Pleased to meet you.
Linhardt, goodbye.
Jeez, Linhardt. How'd you get into the academy with those manners? So, are you a student here too? Maybe we'll be in the same class.
And now Hubert and Petra.
I am Hubert, a humble servant of Lady Edelgard. I heard you came to the aid of Her Highness. You have my most sincere thanks. This is Petra. She has come all the way from Brigid to study in the Empire. Back on her archipelago, she is actually a princess. In Fodlan terms, she would be called heir to the throne.
Hello, I am called Petra. I am pleased to be meeting with... I am pleased to have met you.
Alrighty, so... Now let's move on to the Blue Lions.
Please accept my apologies for the other day. You came to our aid, yet I hadn't even the courtesy to properly introduce myself. I am Dimitri Alexandra Blathid, Crown Prince of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. Of course, at the Academy, I am simply a student. And I've heard word that you are to become a professor here. Delightful news. I still have much to learn, but I'm confident I could benefit greatly from your guidance. In any case, welcome to the monastery.
Thank you very much.
I hear you're investigating the different houses here. Did any of the Blue Lions catch your attention?
Yes, let's go through them. Let's start off with Dimitri himself.
Me? Oh, please forgive me. It's difficult to open up on the spot, don't you think? I'm afraid my story has not been a pleasant one. I do hope that doesn't color your view of me, but I understand if that can't be helped.
Alrighty. Dimitri... Where to begin with him? The character writing, the voice work with Chris Hackney, the personal story arc he goes through. It is really good writing. So is it wrong to say that he's actually my least favorite of the three lords? There are certain... While I do commend the story writing as far as with him and making him not too boring as... He's certainly an interesting character, and once again, not going into spoilers, but there are certain aspects, especially after the big turn point with his character, and I have actually finished the Azure Moon, the Blue Lions run. So I do know much more about how the story goes as far as with that path line than I did with the Black Eagles. But yeah, Dimitri, there are certain aspects of his character that I felt were not handled the best as far as I'm not sure how I should say it without so I'll leave it at that. There was just certain aspects of his character, especially after a turn within the story, that were not handled the best, but it was still really good writing, a really top tier performance by Chris Hackney, and you can see the level of detail not only in how Chris Hackney performs Dimitri, but also in the artistry of how his character evolves as the story progresses. So once again, yeah, sad to say, Dimitri is my personal least favorite out of the three lords, but that is not to say that he is a bad character or that I dislike him. I like him. He is a good character. But when you compare him, as far as my personal thoughts on with both Claude and Edelgard, my personal taste, he does not stand up to them. So, but he is definitely a great character, and wow, he is an absolute powerhouse of a unit in game. Dedue.
Dedue was born in Dusker, and has been loyally working in my service for the past 4 years. He's rather taciturn, but once you get to know him, you'll see he's a kind and good-natured young man.
Dedue. This is an example of a character that gets the whole narrative of prejudices, of a story that involves prejudices or quote-unquote racism correctly. This is the type of character that would come from that type of environment. And there's a lot of aspects to his story and his progression that the writers get absolutely correct. I love his character. I love his story progression. And while he's not a personal favorite, there is no denying that he is an absolutely great character. And he is a mountain of a unit. Felix.
Is the heir to House Fraldarius. He has a bit of a sharp tongue, but don't let that fool you. Deep down, he's a good guy. He gravitates toward people who are skilled. Perhaps you would enjoy a friendly competition with him sometime.
Felix. Are not quite so edgelord, but pretty much edgelord of the game. He is not like... There's certain... he is definitely a great unit. Character-wise, I'm gonna have to agree with Lewis with Blazing Knight on this. I am not as fond of him as a character. He is definitely not a bad character, but he is certainly much better of a unit than he is a character. He very often comes across as very one note. But that's not to say that there isn't depth to him. There is depth to him, and quite honestly, there are several moments where I actually do sympathize with sort of his thoughts, especially when it comes to a certain character that he is closely associated to. Once again, I won't go into spoilers as far as what's going. But those that have played Fire Emblem Three Houses, you'll probably know what I am talking about as far as how he acts around a certain important character. But he is definitely a useful unit, not as good as a character, but he's still good. He just pales in comparison to some of the others that are in the Blue Lion's house. Ash now.
He's the adoptive son of Lord Lenato of Castle Gaspar, but I hear he was born a commoner. He has an extremely earnest personality, so I'm certain he will approach your lectures with great enthusiasm.
Great earnest boy, Ash. He's definitely a fun character to look at. There's not too much as far as his personality, but the story that he does undertake, especially when it comes to his philosophies, they are definitely very, very interesting to look at. And while he may not be as notable of a unit in battle as some of the others are, he definitely has some great story elements to him, and he is certainly a decent unit to be able to bring out in battle. Sylvain.
Sylvain is the heir to House Gautier. He is a capable person who highly values his friends. That said, well, he's always been a bit of a skirt chaser, so to speak. Pardon my bluntness. I speak with him about it often, but it doesn't seem to help.
Ah, Sylvain. Our playboy, pretty boy. This is going to be a recurring theme with these noblemen that are good with cavalry units. Just like with Ferdinand, he certainly seems shallow to begin with, but there is actually a lot more intrigue when you get to know more about their character. And honestly, there's probably no character amongst the three of the characters that fit under this that better epitomizes it than Sylvain. He's certainly a character that I don't personally gel with, but once again, he's certainly a character that I can certainly see why people like this character. I will say, though, as far as the three characters that I'm talking about, as far as sort of these sort of young noblemen that are good with that are good in cavalry type, good as cavalry type units, he is certainly my favorite of those three characters. Alright, moving on to Mercedes.
I hear she was born to imperial nobility, but a twist of fate brought her to the kingdom. She may seem carefree on the surface, but she's actually a kind soul who pays careful attention to everyone around her.
Mercedes, definitely a delightful character. There are certain aspects of her character that is really, really touchy, and I'm not, once again, I am not going to go into spoilers, but for those that know about the expanded story with Fire Emblem Three Houses that was introduced after the Ashen Wolves section of the expansion, you'll know what I am talking about. She has certainly had to deal with a lot, and she is definitely a very fine character. Not one that I gravitate to a whole bunch, but I can certainly see the appeal in her character, and the fact that she's had to live the way that she has, and it has not deterred her kind and caring nature. That is certainly a sign that she is certainly a strong character, an absolutely strong character. It is a little unfortunate that she does get shafted a little bit as far as usability in combat. But she certainly has her areas that she will excel. Annette.
Annette is Baron Dominic's niece. She is a talented student who scored extremely high marks at the Royal School of Sorcery. She's cheerful and hardworking. Brilliant, really. Though she can be a bit oblivious at times. I hear she caused an explosion in the kitchen last night.
Little Miss Annette. Is it strange to say that she's actually my personal favorite character out of the Blue Lions? Is it strange to say that? Like, I'm not even sure if I can explain it. It's like, there's just something about her that really gravitates me towards her. It's more about her personality. She is very much the hard worker. She is very earnest, and she is very dedicated. Sadly, once again, like Mercedes, she is shafted a little bit as far as usability in combat, but the areas that she does excel at, she really does excel at. There's just not much variety as far as how you can utilize her. But strangely enough, there's just something about her character and her story progression that just sort of makes her my favorite amongst the members of the Blue Lions. And now we got Ingrid.
Galatia's daughter. She is also a childhood friend of Felix, Sylvain, and myself. She is diligent, industrious, and principled. In truth, She is more knightly than most knights you will ever meet.
And now my second favorite. I actually say third favorite character in the Blue Lions. I'd definitely put Dedue above her as far as my personal favorite characters within the Blue Lions. But she is, I actually do like her character, and quite honestly, as far as sort of, if you were go into hypotheticals, like she's like a type of character that I actually would be kind of attracted to as a hypothetical. As strange as it is to say, especially when it comes to her post time skip design, like she definitely has a natural beauty to her that I am very much attracted to, and she is definitely a very, very versatile character. Probably one of the most versatile characters in the Blue Lions. So she is definitely very useful in battle, and she has a pretty decent character. Like, there are certain things that people will point out about her, but I honestly don't follow that kind of rhetoric. She has a really good character, and you can definitely see the growth in her character, especially in the Azure Moon storyline. And that is it for the Blue Lions. Let's go and talk to the individual students.
Hey there. Are you the mercenary who saved His Highness? It's an honor to meet you. I'm Sylvain Jose Gautier. Feel free to say hi whenever you like.
Alrighty.
Hi there. You must be the one everyone's talking about. I'm Ash. Great to meet you. This here is Dedue. He serves Prince Dimitri.
I have heard that you rescued His Highness. Words cannot express my gratitude. Should you ever require my strength, please know that I will hasten to repay this debt.
Alright. And now for Felix and Ingrid.
I have heard all about what you did from Prince Dimitri. As a citizen of Fargus, I thank you.
He also said you're quite skilled. And he doesn't just say things like that. I look forward to sparring with you and beating you.
Felix, must you always speak of fighting right away? Oh, and, you may
Apparently yes. Apparently
yes.
yes.
It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Thank you very much. And Mercedes and Annette.
You don't look familiar at all. Do you work here at the monastery? Oh, mercy. Do you think this is that mercenary people have been talking about? Now that I think about it, that does sound like something Dimitri may have said. I suppose you'll be enrolling at the Officers' Academy too, then? Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Mercedes, and this is my best friend.
I'm Annette. It's nice to meet you.
Alrighty. And that is the Blue Lions.
This classroom belongs to the Blue Lion House. Our house leader is Prince Dimitri. All of us here hail from the Holy Kingdom of Fargus.
Alright, thank you very much. And now let's move along to the Golden Deer. So, thus far as what I've played with Fire Emblem 3 Houses, this is my favorite group amongst all of the cast, and certainly has my absolute favorite characters.
Well, scored a teaching gig here, did you? Talk about a great first impression. I guess that means I'd better introduce myself properly. I'm Claude von Regan. I'm from the ruling house of the Leicester Alliance, but don't worry too much about all that madness. I'm guessing you don't know which class you'll be teaching yet, do you? I bet you'd like ours. We're not as difficult as the other two. Have you met the folks from the Golden Deer House yet? Care to know more about anyone?
Yes, I certainly would. Claude, once again, like I said before...
Your interest, have I?
Oh, wait.
As luck would have it, I'm pretty curious about you as well. But what's life without a bit of mystery? Let's just spend the next year or so learning about each other little by little.
Yeah, like I said before, this is my favorite lord out of the three lords, Edelgard, Dimitri, Claude. He is my absolute favorite. His design is really good. His personality there's a little bit. I could certainly see myself a little bit in there, a little bit of that mischievous sort of side to him, and he wears it the whole entire time. And the air of mystery, as far as certain aspects of his character, as well as his background, is certainly legitimately intriguing throughout the entire story, and being able to find out more about him was certainly a treat in my playthrough of Golden Deer. That was the first route that I encountered, and the first route that I was able to finish in my time with Three Houses, and I absolutely love this guy to death. Absolutely gets better after the time skip. Now, this is one point where I'll actually disagree with Lewis as far as Blazing Knight, with his views as far as how he is during the before the time skip. He's certainly not as boring as Lewis makes him out to be. Like, there's a lot of great little tidbits that you see out of him. Like, he's certainly not one to put a lot of his stuff into action. Yes, that is true. But just sort of trying to sort of seeing what he's thinking, seeing what's going through his mind, trying to figure out what his motives are and how he wants to progress things in the future is really, really intriguing in the first part. And seeing all that come to fruition and seeing him actually act upon that stuff, that makes the whole build up and seeing the first part even better, because that it's sort of rewarding you for following this character, and I absolutely love it. I love Claude. He is my absolute favorite out of the three lords, and it's certainly amongst my absolute favorites in the whole entire cast for Three Houses.
I appreciate your effort.
Alright, so we completed that quest. No, I am not going to return to the audience chamber. I'm going to continue exploring because there's more people that I need to talk to.
What do you think? The Golden Deer House is for students of the Leicester Alliance. Our house leader is heir to the Alliance's leadership, House Regan. We have plenty of other prominent nobles as well.
Oh, actually, almost forgot. I was supposed to...
I guess I'm guess. Have you met the folks from the Golden Deer?
I forgot to go into the other ones. Let's go, Lawrence.
He's the heir of Gloucester territory. If you haven't already picked up on it, he's a bit arrogant and fancies himself a ladies' man. That said, deep down he's really devoted and honest. Though I wouldn't mind never hearing him talk about his noble obligations ever again.
And here's that final piece of the copy-paste trio with Ferdinand and Sylvain. There are certainly different aspects to each one of their characters. Lawrence is definitely comes up short compared to Ferdinand and Sylvain, but that does not mean that I don't like his character. Certainly there's much more to suffer through when it comes to Lawrence, especially when it comes to his attitude and how he talks to people. Especially in the early going, but if you actually take the time to actually go through his supports and find out what kind of person that he actually is underneath all that posh and stuff like that, you'll actually see a really good character. Just not as good as Ferdinand or Sylvain when it comes to this sort of type of noble ladies' man type character. So certainly the lesser of the three characters, but he certainly has, when he has his strong points, he definitely has his strong points when it comes to character work. And he has actually a pretty decent unit to utilize. Certainly not the best unit, but he certainly has variety to him. Raphael.
He comes from a merchant family, but his parents died in an accident. Seems like he's had a rough life. Despite all that, he's just about the most cheerful guy you'll ever meet. His passions are training, eating, and actually that's about it.
Alright, Raphael, our favorite big boy, our favorite big monkey, no, not big monkey. Sorry. Get a little mixed up in my words. Big chunky, big beefy boy. There's not too much to his character. Like the stuff with his backstory is certainly interesting, as well as mostly that, not necessarily with his backstory in general, but how he moves forward from what he had to endure in the past. That is certainly probably the strongest aspect of his character. Like an internally positive guy, and he certainly earns his keep as a really fun, good character to be able to utilize. And he does come up a little bit short as far as usability in battle. He certainly is certainly the powerhouse, or at least one of the powerhouses of the Golden Deer. But when you get past his strength, there's not much left to him that can be utilized, and he does, as far as usability about it, he does come up as one note. But I really do like his character. He is a great, fun character to be able to listen to. Ignatz is next.
He's the second son of a merchant family. Since his brother will inherit the business, he's training to become a knight. If you ask me, it doesn't seem like he truly wants to be a knight. He's probably just doing it to please his parents.
Ignatz. It's probably the one character, like, I do like him, but he's sort of the character that there's not really much of an impression that he leaves with me. Like, there's not much that I can really think about when it comes to his character, and like there's certainly some interesting moments with his character, especially when it comes to character interaction. But a lot of the time, he does seem a little bit more on the bland side, and that's a little bit unfortunate. He certainly has usability when it comes to combat, and he's not certainly going to be a powerhouse, but he is certainly going to be useful when it comes to certain, especially when it comes to certain maps. But there's a lot to be desired with his character, so it doesn't leave much of an impression.
Lysithea is the daughter of Count Ordelia, and is probably the youngest student here. But watch out, she gets angry if you treat her like a child. As for me, I do it on purpose. You have to make your own fun in this place, you know?
One of the reasons why I love you, Claude. Just lines like that. Lysithea. The mistress of the memes herself. The most powerful magic unit on the roster. Like, she is very much the tactical nuke. And is as frail as glass. Character-wise, there's actually aspects of her character that make her more insufferable than Lorenz. But she's not as consistently sufferable as he is. She certainly has a lot more brighter moments, and there a lot more character development than Lorenz has. But she, as far as, especially with her early support conversations with, especially with other members of the Golden Deer House, she has by far some of the worst support conversations early on. She definitely does become better as the story progresses, and we learn more about her character and why she ends up the way that she is. Not, once again, not going into spoilers, but great unit on battle. Not as much as in the character department. She certainly has lower lows than Lorenz, but she isn't as consistently low, and she certainly has higher highs. So I like her character fine. There's a lot that I had to sort of trudge through with her as far as dealing with her, but by the end, she is a good character, and she is a really good unit. Even though she may not be, I wouldn't necessarily say that she isn't very, like, she certainly has more variation to what she can do than someone like Annette or Mercedes. But as far as compared to some of the other magic units out there, she certainly doesn't have as much usability as they do, but she is an absolute powerhouse, and I do like her. It's just a lot that you have to deal with early on to get to those good moments. Marianne.
Marianne is Margrave Edmund's daughter, and that's pretty much all I know about her. She doesn't interact much with other students, so I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of folks here have never even heard her speak.
Alrighty, Marianne. For those that know me within the Blazing Knight community, this is best girl. Marianne is absolutely best girl. She is a great unit. She has great versatility as a unit. She has an absolutely powerful, great character to her. She is my absolute favorite in this game. She is the best. As far as character work, Marianne is absolutely best girl. And it's more so the fact that there is definitely a part of me that absolutely relates to her character, and I absolutely love the direction that they take her character, and even with the hints of tragedy within her character, especially if you do not recruit her by but before the time skip. I'm not going to go into spoilers as far as what happens, but it's sort of played off as a subtle hint, but it really does hit sort of how powerful her character can be. Her character is, and how much she has to go through in her character growth, and be able to see it if you do actually recruit her, and to not see that if you don't recruit her, it is absolutely tragic, and it just makes the moments that you do actually be able to interact with her when you recruit her, that just makes it even stronger. She is absolutely the best character, in my personal opinion, in this game. I love her absolutely. Once again, Marianne, best girl, must protect. Hilda. When Claude introduces Hilda, this is another reason why I absolutely love Claude. So, well, actually, it's sort of the same reason, but it's just another example of why I love Claude so much. Just listen.
Hilda is the only daughter of Duke Goneril. It seems her father and brother coddle her quite a bit. If you look up lazy in the dictionary, her picture won't be there because she never got around to submitting it. Not too unusual for a noble.
I love that. I just love that. Okay, let's talk about Hilda. Absolute powerhouse on the battle. Like, despite what Claude said about her being lazy, and she does try to put up that front of being lazy, not wanting to do stuff because she feels like that she's not going to be able to live up to expectations. But when you actually do use her in battle, she is bar none probably one of the more powerful units that you can actually use within the Golden Deer. She is an absolute powerhouse of the unit, and she certainly has a likable personality. I feel like they fall back onto her trope a little bit too much. Kind of makes her kind of one note. But when she is at her best, and honestly, some of her funnier moments are actually legitimately funny, especially a certain character interaction with a certain other character. Those that, once again, those that have played Fire Emblem Three Houses before, you'll know who I'm talking about. So, she's certainly not amongst my personal favorite, but she is certainly a good character. And there is certainly depth to her, not as much as some of the others, but she is certainly a fun character to learn about, and a much more fun character to utilize in battle. So despite your wanting this to possibly sort of oblige to her, I highly recommend put her in battle. Right now. Stop what you're doing right now, put her in battle right now. And finally, Leonie.
Leonie enrolled because she wants to be a mercenary. I think she said that her father is a hunter. She's pretty blunt and as stingy as they come. A habitual saver, too. I think she's hoping to repay her village for helping to send her here.
Leonie. I actually really do like her character. Yeah, she can start off one note, and certainly just like Lysithea, she can certainly have some very low points when it comes to her support conversations and interactions with others. Just something that you don't want to do. Don't do a drinking game as far as with Leonie, as far as how many times she mentions your main character, the father of your main character with Gerald. Do not do that. You will not survive. So, even though she is certainly probably she's probably the most versatile unit, and quite honestly, as far as I understand, as far as sort of like the meta game within Fire Emblem Three Houses, she is absolutely one of the best overall units in the game. She is really good. She is very balanced. She is very, very good to use in battle. And I actually do legitimately like aspects, especially with her design. Like, I may consider Marianne best girl, but once again, hypothetically, if there was a character that I would actually be attracted to, and particularly when it comes to their post-time skip designs, Leonie would actually be top of my list, not just with looks and design, but also, strangely enough, personality. Like, she's sort of like the type of woman I personally would want to be able to have in my life. And certainly the type of woman that I actually personally think I would need in my life. So, like, there's may not be as much to her character as others, but she exemplifies sort of traits that I absolutely do love in a character. So while she may not have the character work of a Marianne, she certainly has the usability of battle and the personality that I really go for. So I absolutely love Leonie. Alright. And that concludes the Golden Deer. Let's get on through with talking with the individual characters themselves.
The renowned mercenary who rescued Claude. Honestly, you should not have troubled yourself over the likes of him. My name is Lawrence Hellman Gloucester. You will want to remember it.
I wish I didn't. No, once again, he does get better with time, but it's just so easy to reject him from the outset.
You saved Claude, are you?
Oh, you are? It's such an honor to meet you. Ignatz Victor. My parents are Alliance merchants.
And I am Lysithia von Ordelia. Please do not forget it.
What do you think?
Hey, are you that mercenary? Everyone's been talking about you. I'm Hilda Valentine Goneril, and her name is...
Marianne von Edmund.
Are you joining the Knights of Seros or something? Well, I look forward to seeing more of you.
Alright. Hello, best girl. And let's move on to Leone and Raphael.
The dining hall's that way, if that's what you're looking for.
No, Raphael. That's Captain Gerald's kid. Hi, I'm Leone Pinelli, Captain Gerald's first and greatest apprentice. I'm sure he's told you about me.
Nice to meet you. I'm Raphael Kirsten. Who are you again?
No, I'm going to continue exploring because there's still several people that I need to talk to.
Right.
First things first. This mysterious man over here.
What do you want? I am Yuritsa. I teach here. Weapon instruction. These are the training grounds. Goodbye.
Wow, man, a few words. I wonder if he's hiding something. Alrighty, let's go ahead and move on to the second floor. Finish up these conversations so that I can get to the important choice that I'm going to have to make. So let's first talk to some of the other characters.
So could you please move along now? Thanks. Okay, now, what else did Lady Rhea need doing today?
Not making a good first impression, kid. We'll deal with him a little bit later.
Here I am again, the office of the Captain of the Knights. That said, I'm merely here to assist. Apparently, the current captain is getting on in years. I hear the captain has a hard time keeping up with the responsibilities of the job. That's where I come in.
Alrighty. Let's go on to Manuela.
Oh, Professor! Dropping by so soon? I expected we'd take some time, exchange a few smiles as we passed in the hall, flirt a bit, you know. Well, you're here now, and I do like a man who knows what he wants. Lock the door. Huh. That
Wow.
didn't faze you at all, did it?
Excuse me?
Or are you just so innocent you don't understand me?
Excuse me? Okay. Mrs. Robinson, I think you're trying to seduce me.
This is my research laboratory. I've worked hard to furnish it with the rare materials and purpose-built equipment required for my work.
Alright, and one more character to talk to before we get to the big decision as far as how we will be tackling Fire Emblem Three Houses.
You may find literature from the far reaches of Fodlan. I am Tomas, the librarian. If you have need of me, do not hesitate to ask. I have worked here for... I have lost track of the decades, it seems.
How convenient that you lost track. Alrighty.
Let's see.
Now let's actually get into... There we go. Now, the important decision.
How are you enjoying your time at the Academy thus far? I hope you have found our halls brimming with the vitality of well-intentioned souls.
And actually quite on time. Actually, to make this decision nearing the end of the stream.
I must note that I am personally against entrusting someone as lacking in trackable history as yourself with such a task. But it is as the Archbishop desires.
The Black Eagles, the Blue Lions, and the Golden Deer. All so different. I hope you've made it a point to get to know each of them.
Since you are new here, we have decided to allow you first pick. Manuela and I will take charge of the remaining 2 houses.
Alright, which house will I choose? Alrighty, how are we going to tackle this? Now, like I said before, my personal experience is I have gone through the Golden Deer and the Blue Lion storyline. So I have yet to do the Black Eagle. Now, as far as with streaming, natural convention would say that I picked one of the 2 houses that I'm familiar with, be able to guide you. But one of the reasons why I wanted to be able to do this stream is to sort of give myself an excuse to get through the both of the Black Eagle storylines. But yeah, so I will go ahead and pick the Black Eagles because I do need to get through that, and I want to give myself an excuse to actually put myself through it. So we are going Black Eagles.
So you have chosen the Black Eagles led by Edelgard, correct?
Yes.
Your heart has made its choice, then. All I ask is that you guide these open minds with virtue, care, and sincerity.
They are all promising youths who bear the weight of Fodlan's future upon their shoulders. I hope you appreciate what an honor it is to lead them.
Brother? Oh, I am so sincerely sorry. I did not mean to interrupt.
I'm in the middle of something, Flame. Is it urgent?
No, it's nothing.
The fish.
More importantly,
Our favorite fish girl.
Who is this?
This is our newest professor at the Academy.
Oh my! A new addition to the Officers Academy! I am so very pleased to meet you, Professor. I am Sedith's little sister, Flame. I am so happy to make your acquaintance.
And we are happy to meet you as well.
At hand. There is something you should be aware of. In a few days' time, there will be a mock battle between the 3 houses, intended to gauge the current progress of the students. We will be using this battle as an opportunity to ascertain your own abilities as well. Please do not disappoint the Archbishop. That is all.
And we'll actually be saving that battle for tomorrow. But
Wait, so our new professor
once we get there.
You? I didn't see that one coming.
Easy, Caspar. Aren't you being a bit rude?
You know it's a waste of time to expect politeness from him. It will be a pleasure learning from you, Professor. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to take a nap.
Don't look at me like that! Oh, and please don't talk to me too much either.
I'm sorry for the chaos you've walked into.
I hear we are rather close in age, Professor. I hope you do not mind if we treat you like one of us. In our class, we try to treat each other as equals, despite any differences in age or status. Personally, I would love to include you in that inner circle.
I don't mind at all.
You have a gut, Professor. I will take great joy from your teachings.
Petra, I
Love
believe
Petra.
you mean to say that our professor has guts. That's a bit different from having a gut. You can't go around saying someone so slim and attractive has a gut.
Oh, please take my apologies. I have not yet mastered this language.
Professor, I want you to know that it's perfectly acceptable for you to treat me as you do the others. I may be the Imperial Princess, but here at the Academy, I'm just another student. That said, know that I have high expectations of you, and high hopes. But I'm certain you can lead the Black Eagle House to greatness.
Sure. Now let's break the ice with a training session. I want to see our new teacher in action.
Why will the ice be broken? Is this a custom I have missed in my studies?
Not real ice, just the ice of, well, it just means let's get to know each other.
I don't want to train. Let's stay in the classroom and learn from a book. Let's
Certainly a
all go down
dysfunctional
for a
bunch.
nice cup of tea, how about? Doesn't that sound lovely, Professor?
I
I know we all agreed to treat each other as equals, but there is a limit to what I can tolerate. The esteemed Black Eagle House requires order.
Looks like your first job will be to quiet down this racket. I don't envy you.
They're not normally this rowdy.
Are you sure about that?
I do hope you can manage, Professor.
Alrighty. Yeah. Yep. Once we get to save point, then we will be ending. New places to explore in the monastery. Let's see, 1,000 gold. Church of Saros.
Say, while you're here, I'd like to use this device I designed to determine whether the power of a crest resides within you. Won't hurt a bit. Promise.
Are you sure?
You don't know about crests? Well, allow me to tell you everything, absolutely everything about them.
Thank you, Exposition Dump.
This will take a while.
I would like to learn more about crests.
Crests are a fascinating topic, but before one can dive deeply into said topic, one must first understand what crests are. They are power incarnate.
Okay.
They are said to have been bestowed upon humans by the goddess countless ages ago. They exist within the flesh and are passed down through bloodlines. Those who carry crests may excel at magic, display exceptional strength, or any number of boons. Each crest has its own power, the nature of which is beyond mortal understanding. For now.
And you believe I have a crest?
I suspect as much, yes. But we won't know for sure unless I look into the matter. As I said, crests are passed down through the blood. However, just because someone carries a crest does not necessarily mean their descendants will inherit it as well. Only a scarce few descendants of a crest's bloodline end up inheriting that crest's power. Perhaps one of your ancestors bore a crest, and you just happen to inherit it. That is how a crest usually presents itself, after all.
Alright, do what you can to find out.
Yes, of course. I'll get to the bottom of it straight away. Now then, please go ahead and hold out your arm over this device here.
Alright.
What is this? A pattern I've never seen before. Is it possible an as yet undiscovered crest has been detected? To think there are still crests out there that even I am unaware of. How thrilling! Pardon my unrestrained jubilation. I have much to consider.
Okay.
You may leave now. I have more research to do in regard to this crest. Yes, so very much more research. But for now, your work here is done.
Then let me go.
What could this line here be indicating? Perhaps it represents a lack of symmetry. Or perhaps... What in the world? Oh, I see. It may be connected to that, but to a greater degree than usual.
Alrighty. And so...
With each moon, professors of the Officers' Academy receive a schedule for the month ahead. It notes the days on which events and missions will take place that month. Pay careful attention to your schedule, so that you may thoughtfully plan what you intend to do each month, and when.
Alright. And talking about the schedule, the calendar, and how to utilize it. So, With that, I am going to save up. And that'll be it for today's stream. I hope that you very much enjoyed it. Tomorrow we are going to be continuing with Three Houses. Essentially, how I'm going to be tackling this is that there are essentially two storylines within the Black Eagle path, and I'm actually going to utilize this sort of base file here that I'm starting up here as sort of a template for both of those routes. So there's going to be a point where I have to make a decision, and that's when the story sort of splits for the Black Eagle path. I'm gonna utilize this as a base, and before we get to that, right before we get to that decision, I am going to create a copy of this file so that we can be able to go down both of those paths within sort of this sort of stream series. So first, I will tackle the Black Eagles part, the Crimson Flower storyline, and then after that, I will tackle the Silver Snow storyline. And those are the two main storylines within Fire Emblem Three Houses that I still yet to have taken care of. And like I said before, I want to give myself an excuse to actually go through and be able to complete it all. So, with that, that will end our stream session today. I hope that you've enjoyed the stream. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Tomorrow's stream will be at 5 o'clock p.m. U.S. Central Time. So our normal time. So, I hope you've had fun. Take care, and God bless. Thank you very much for watching.